Max, hit that air raid siren, Playboy. It's time for Monday Morning Fallout. Monday Morning Fallout, of course, when we overreact to everything from the football weekend. There's a lot to overreact to, too.
That's probably
There's
true.
a lot.
Yeah.
Let's start with 3 big thoughts. First thought, the conversation has started.
About.
So we heard this specifically about one team, and it was Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Allen is kind of that looming giant back there in on the periphery that we've heard from Allen fans who are saying, why aren't they ranked higher?
Sure.
And we've heard from people who aren't Allen fans saying, why are they ranked at all?
Right.
And both have reasonable arguments. And we wanted to see Allen play a team in their weight class. Well, they did. They played Denton Guyer, and they smoked them.
Yeah, wasn't close.
They smoked them, and they looked every bit the part of a contender. So now, that doesn't mean that I'm fully on board the Allen train. That doesn't. I'm impressed with this win, but now we actually have something to start the conversation.
Sure.
Now they are in the conversation of 6A contenders.
Yeah.
They weren't before because we just didn't have any idea.
Sure.
So for me, this was a conversation starter, not a conversation ender.
Mm-hmm.
Their win is impressive. The problem now is that, honestly, they're not going to play anybody else that's going to give them a challenge. They beat Guyer. That's an impressive win, and I don't want to take anything away from it because that's a very impressive win.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you look at the rest of their schedule; they're better than every team they're going to play. And if you start looking at the, if you start looking at our playoff projections, which we'll get to in a moment,
like everything with Allen, there may only be 2 really big games on that schedule in the playoffs.
Absolutely, because they're going to be.
You wouldn't automatically favor them heavily in anyway.
So they are going to, the way that we have our 6A bracket kind of breaking down, they play a team like Louisville in the first round.
Yeah.
Probably beat them. Maybe a team like Belton, probably beat them.
Yeah.
Or South Grand Prairie, probably beat them. Arlington Lamar,
probably.
Midland, probably beat them.
Yeah.
Trinity, right now, probably beat them. And at that point, they're in a state semifinal.
Right.
So the problem with this Allen program is that we will have one shot. We have one snapshot against a team that we think could beat them.
Right.
And they smoked them.
Yeah.
They smoked them. They've passed that test.
Yeah.
The problem is it's going to be a while before we get another snapshot.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's, for me, that's the biggest thing, is that this is not a conversation ender. This is a conversation starter. Big thought number 2. It's probably just time to admit.
Don't say it. No.
That's a down year in college football in Texas. I think it is.
I think it was worse last year.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think there are 3 pretty good teams in the state, ranging from very good to pretty good. A&M, Baylor, and Houston.
Yeah.
Those are 3 pretty good teams. But the mark for me of a good year in college football in Texas is that you've got a couple of contenders.
Sure.
A robust middle.
Okay.
And then, obviously there's always going to be 1 or 2 that are just kind of the dregs. This year, I think it's those 3 in some order, depending on what you think.
Right.
Those 3 in some order. A relatively sizable gap.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of a mishmash of flawed teams.
Yeah. Teams we're getting excited about because they might win 6 games.
Right. Yeah. Teams that are going to go win 7 games. 6 games, 7 games. And for me, that's disappointing because I thought that this had a chance to be – there were a couple breakout teams that could have come through.
Yeah.
I just don't think they've come through. Now, admittedly, you've got A&M, who's ranked number 6 in the nation. We're not poo-pooing them. We're not poo-pooing undefeated Baylor.
They've done everything that's been asked of them so far. Baylor's doing its usual thing. They should be undefeated right now. They are. So
Houston's had the one hiccup. And
Houston's been probably disappointing
I think
of those top 3.
Relatively, but at the same time, they're still in that top 3. The problem is that that's a quarter of the teams.
Yeah.
And the rest are just kind of blah, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, and finally, thirdly, TexasFootball.com/projections. I want to direct everyone there. These are not reflective of what happened this past week, but we have our projected brackets for the every UIL bracket, playoff.
Right.
From 6A D1 all the way down to 1A D2. We've got them all. And Matt Stepp is updating those every week. Admit it, again, these are not reflective of what happened this past week. Those will be updated later this week.
Yep.
However, TexasFootball.com/projections. If you want to start playing with your own bracketology, you can go there at TexasFootball.com/projections. 3 helmet stickers. Max to Kason Martin.
Pretty good.
The quarterback of the Manville Mavericks, 249 yards and 5 touchdowns in yet another Mavericks win. They are, in my view, the best team in 5A. It's either them or Ryan, and boy, I would love to see that.
I think we're headed that
way. That is a game that, like we talk about games we'd pay to go see.
Oh yeah,
that's a game I'd pay to go see. Manville and Denton Ryan are, to me, clearly the 2 best teams in 5A.
Be a lot of fun,
and they will be a lot of fun. Baylor running back Shock Linwood, another big game against Kansas. He becomes Baylor's all-time leader in rushing touchdowns. Congratulations to the pride of Lyndon Kildare. He sets the new Baylor Bear mark for most
consistent Bear offensive threat this year.
Unquestionably. Unquestionably. He gets a helmet sticker. And finally, Malakoff quarterback Judd Miller. Did you see what he did?
I did.
315 yards and 6 touchdowns through the air on something like 18 attempts.
Yeah.
It was out of control.
Yeah.
So Malakoff quarterback Judd Miller gets a helmet sticker from me. 3 teams to watch. How about Liberty? Liberty is 8-0.
Yeah, man.
They are rolling right now. They've officially cracked our
top 10, right?
Top 10 in 3A Division 2. They are number 10, 8-0 with a 48-13 win over Hampshire Finette. This is a team we cannot ignore anymore. They are looking very, very good. And let me mention that TexasFootball.com has our new rankings. If you don't like our rankings, keep winning. We will notice you. I got an email from somebody saying Reagan County should be ranked, and I agree. But we've been waiting for them to play Sonora, which they'll do this week. And if they beat Sonora, they're in the rankings. I will see to it.
For sure.
Promise you.
Yeah.
Another team to watch. Baylor Bears.
Right.
Great win.
Yeah.
That is what we want to see from Baylor.
They're on track.
They are playing a team that they are better than, and they came out and imposed their will on them. Period.
Apparently the only team in Texas capable of doing that.
Great. That's what we wanted to see. Great work. Great work. Saxy is unbeaten. Watch out for Red Barons' squad. The Mustangs are flying high. Jalen Maiden is humming right now. The defense has been very good. Huge game this week with unbeaten Rowlett.
Yeah.
Huge game. Yeah. 3 teams to worry about. You see what happened to Cameron, yo?
80-54. The Battle of the Bell.
Battle of the Bell always provides wacky results. This is one of the wackiest.
Yeah.
80 points is
a lot.
I want to see if I can pull up a box score real quick.
Well, so I was looking at this, and you're going to be surprised by how nothing really stands out to you.
Yeah?
Yeah. You're going to be like, oh, some guy should have had 500,000 yards.
He just didn't. Rockdale did score
team effort.
So Rockdale scored 2 defensive touchdowns and 2 special teams touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, there's your difference right there. The special teams especially is what stood out.
Mm-hmm. But it's, but Rockdale just hummed. It was a really, really impressive win for Rockdale and a major red flag for Cameron Yo.
Right.
That, for me, Cameron Yo has looked good. That win over Franklin's really impressive.
Yeah.
But when they've lost, they've lost ugly.
Right.
And
admittedly, the other one's to China Spring, a bigger and very good team.
But still.
The other thing to remember, too, with that, the Battle of the Bell especially, is there have been years, especially during that 4-year run of state title appearances, where Rockdale beat Cameron Yo. Cameron Yo came back and beat them in the playoffs en route to state title appearance.
Sure. I agreed. Texas Tech.
Boy.
I mean, that's what happens when you play a good defense, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
And there are good defenses left on the schedule.
Yeah.
They'll make a bowl. I think they'll make a bowl.
I think they'll make a bowl, but Craven today in the 411 brings up a great point. He's like, okay, so maybe they make a bowl. What if they don't? What does it take for Cliff to be on the hot seat next year?
Yeah. I mean, it's a fair question. It's a fair question, but I think we can officially table the hopes that they are going to be that breakout team. Because, I mean, now they'll have a chance to get right back on track with a win over Oklahoma this week, but I mean, at this point, it's hard to fathom that.
Sure.
And Odessa Permian.
This is the crazy one, man. They need a Christmas miracle to get into the playoffs at this point.
Permian's 0-3 in district, another heart-wrenching loss.
They've still got to play San Angelo Central.
Last second, they've lost to Midland, they've lost to Tascosa, and they've lost to Wolford Friendship. They're 0-3. They still got San Angelo Central on the horizon this week.
That's tough, man.
They could very feasibly be 0-4 in district, and Mojo Magic could be on the outside looking in. Pretty remarkable stuff. That's our Monday morning fallout.